We're reading every Spider-Man ever, and this is Not Brand Echh issue 4. While Hoggy Nelson is aggressively flirting with Karen Rage, Splat Murdock is deep in thought. That's right, those names mean we're in parody territory again. So Splat also loves Miss Rage, but he's got to remain casual and nonchalant to keep his secret identity as Scaredevil a secret. But since that's the only reason he isn't winning over Miss Rage, he decides to quit. Rather than just quitting though, he wants an enemy to unmask him, so he calls up Electrico and arranges a meetup, then dons his costume one last time, only to fall out of a window because he forgot that there wasn't a building to swing from. Meanwhile and elsewhere, Electrico is waiting and curious about what Scaredevil will say, when Scaredevil himself smashes through a window. The hero instantly quits and surrenders to Electrico, telling the villain to unmask him, but Electrico isn't stupid. This is some kind of trap. It has to be. Scaredevil pleads with him. It's definitely real. He definitely wants to quit and be unmasked. But Electrico just zaps him, sure that the mask must be booby-trapped or something. When Scaredevil offers to take off his mask himself, Electrico says that he won't even look. He'll close his eyes. He doesn't care who Scaredevil is. So Scaredevil decides to tie himself up with his own cable to prove that it isn't a trap, but Electrico just picks him up and throws him out of a window. Scaredevil survives after flexing his way out of the cable and decides that he must be able to find someone, anyone who will unmask him. But we cut to 10 years later and no one has. So Scaredevil decides to take matters into his own hands. He'll unmask himself in front of a crowd of strangers and Spidey-Man, which is why we're here, and win the heart of Karen Rage, who seems to be with Hoggy now. Karen asks Hoggy if he's worried about the unmasking, and he isn't. After all, a lot can happen in 10 years. And he's right, as Scaredevil pulls off his mask to reveal a completely bald Splat Murdock, no longer the heartthrob he once was. Thanks for watching. There's a new issue released every Thursday, and while we wait for that, here's a fun fact about this one. The theme of this issue was Bad Guys Win, and all the stories featured within were for Marvel's weakest sellers at the time, Daredevil, Submariner, and the X-Men. It's almost like, even in a parody issue, that they didn't really want the villains winning against any of their big hitters like Spider-Man. Instead, he just gets to be a crowd member.